All right, good morning, everybody, or afternoon now. So we all enjoyed our Sunday school graduation. Some of us have seen more graduations than others. Each year, they keep graduating. They don't seem to get any older, but we keep seeing more of them. So I think that when Father's talking about the family structure, we're witnessing what this family brings about. So I think that we wonder what this world of family life is going to be like, and what this world of family life, how it can be implemented in this fallen world that we find ourselves dwelling in. But I want to look at history a little bit and see how God's will can work in this world. So when I want to look at the formation of this nation of America. I'm sure many of you have heard these lines. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, laying their foundation on such principles and organizing their powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. This idea is fairly easy for us to embrace, the idea that all men are created equal. And from that has come forth a nation not like any country in the history of mankind, a nation that has unparalleled goodness to boast for its history. No nation has shed more blood on foreign soils than America. No nation has given more help to other nations than America. No nation has stood as a beacon of hope for all the people of the world like America. What you have to do is ask almost everybody in this room, where do you want to live if you were born in a foreign nation? Because a lot of us here didn't come from America. But when people come to America, it's because they want to be here. But this nation, this idea of all men are created equal was not very common. It didn't exist until 1776. It was in the Bible, but it was never allowed to be expressed. There was never a king who told the preachers, tell everybody that the kings and the paupers are equal in God's eyes. There was never an aristocrat who told the people who were serving him as slave or slave owner, who told the slaves that in God's eyes we're all equal. There was no such existence. There was no such culture, no such nation, no such world to live in. So the world that people lived in reflected those ideas. They didn't have good ideas to live by. But America, in the early 1740s, there was a great religious revival. And there were great preachers, superstars who traveled from town to town, itinerant preachers, gathering crowds of thousands, even tens of thousands, and teaching them a faith in God and reviving them a faith in God. They were teaching a new kind of faith, one that emphasized individual faith and relationship with God over doctrines of church. That teaching spread like wildfire across this nation, the small colonies. It connected all the colonies together. And there were young men who were listening to those teachings. Men with names like Madison, Jefferson, Adams, Monroe. Does anybody here know those names? The people who went to school here know those names. Those people were listening as young men. They were listening to those sermons. They were living in families that were talking about those ideas. 40 years later, they had a chance to build a nation. And they built a nation with new idea. The idea that all men are created equal. They put that in the framing of their declaration of why this nation must exist. Because all men are created equal. Because in God's eyes, all men are equal. With that idea, they built this nation. And then this nation came to embody that. Now this idea is so powerful, however, that, and it's so much from God, that if we look at the history of mankind from that time till today, how many years is that? 1776 till today. I know you went to school. 35? 240 years about. 240 years. In those 240 years, which in the timeline of history is just the blink of an eye, every government on the face of this earth has been transformed. Every single government on the face of the earth has been transformed to be more like America, to embrace this idea that all men are created equal. You can look it up. How is this possible? How can this come about so quickly? It's because divine principle tells us all people have an original mind. Original mind. What is the original mind of man? The original mind is a faculty of the human mind which pursues absolute goodness. Every human being has an original mind, a part of him that in spite of whoever he is, however nasty and evil he may be, like our young prince in China, there is a part of everybody that seeks absolute goodness. Everybody. It is that part of them, and that part which rejects evil and goes after what is good. Until 1776, there was the idea that all men was created equal was just an idea. But in America, that idea became reality. And when that idea became reality, then men's original minds all over the world could be transformed, could be attracted, could be changed. They could see themselves, they could see the world they lived in differently. And then the whole world, like that idea, like mighty waters rolled across the world and changed the world we live in. You're comfortable with that idea. Everybody's comfortable with that idea today, but it wasn't always like that. The world was a much darker place until that time. But so America rose up based on this Christian principle. America became a great nation, not through democracy, not through government, but through her spiritual reality, a reality of a connection with God. But America has its problems. We all know that. We know that from the very beginning, America embraced slavery, although it always was a contentious issue. In every decade of America's existence, slavery was a contentious issue. But they didn't solve that issue. They formed a declaration declaring that all men are created equal, and yet they let slaves remain in this country. That cancer had to be removed from this nation. How was it removed? 77 years later, a great conflict occurred on these soils. 25% of the American population either died or was wounded in the Civil War. 25%. And that was the cost paid to remove slavery. Not only that, but we know that the shameful history of the way we treated the native population in America, herding them into reservations, restricting their rights and freedoms. We didn't honor their right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And we know that even today, there's still problems. There's still racial problems. There's a great divide in races. We know that there's a great divide between the masses and the classes, those with lots of money, those with less money. No one's ever been able to solve these problems, to bridge these gaps. We know that people are still committing crimes against other people, denying their right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So, the reason that why is this happening in this nation that built on these Christian ideals? Because we know Christianity itself is incomplete. St. Paul was a great Christian, but he said, the good that I would do, I don't do. And the evil that I would not do, I do. And of course, we know that Not only St. Paul, but everybody, and not just Christians. Good men of different religions and conscientious men all embrace the same problem. The good that I would do, I do not do. And the evil that I would not do, I do. This has been the struggle of mankind since the fall of man. It may offend some people, especially Christians, to think that Christianity is incomplete. But the Bible itself says so. The Bible says clearly in the book of Revelations, in chapter 22, chapter 21, that the New Jerusalem, I saw the holy city, the New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride, beautifully dressed for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, now the dwelling of God is with men, and he will live with them. They will be his people, and God himself be with them and be their God. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, or mourning, or crying, or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. The old order. In other words, the final destination of history, the world where God and man live together, is only possible after the returning Messiah takes his bride and begins the ideal family. The prophecy is in the Bible, right? But does this mean that only Christians want to live in an ideal world? Does this mean that only religious people want to live where there's no more death, no more mourning, no more tears, no more pain? This is a common dream and hope of all mankind. Not based on being Christian, it's based on being a human being. We all want to live in an ideal world. But the prophecy is, no one has ever understood what this prophecy meant. Coming down as a bride adorned for her husband. But Reverend Moon has clearly explained to us that this is the ideal of this is the marriage of a godly man and a godly woman. That this is the first marriage of a godly man and a godly woman. So what is the definition of a godly man? Especially young people. What is the definition of a godly man? If you want to be a godly man, what do you have to do?
Ideal character.
Well, in divine principle, we simply say, the godly man is the man whose mind and body are united, centered on God. A man whose mind and body are united, centered on God. So, do all you gentlemen have a mind? I see some dissenting votes, but it's true. You all have a mind. Do you all have a body? Can we all become godly people? Is it easy? Have you tried? Well, it's really hard to say how much we've tried. We go to that. What is the definition of a godly woman? This should be easier. What's the definition of a godly woman? You girls are sharp. I like that. Do you all girls all have a body? Do you have a mind? Can you become a godly woman? Is anybody here denied the capacity to be a godly woman? Yeah, all the guys are, but all the women have the capacity to be a godly woman. So that's what this prophecy entails, that the ideal world cannot come into existence until we have a godly man and a godly woman creating an ideal family. In God's original ideal, the family is the textbook of love, like the Hyundai case said. It's the textbook of love. This is a simple way to explain what the family is. It's the textbook of love and the training ground of love. Why do we have children? Actually, Father has spoken so much about love and acquisition of love. But of course, we have children because men and women get together. That's what happens, right? Why do you love your wife? We love our wives. We love our husbands. We want to get together. When we love each other, we expand ourselves. We become a family. We become bigger. When we have children, our family expands and becomes bigger. The circle of love, the realm of love keeps growing. As our families develop, our circle of love increases and expands. So the love that we start as a husband and wife becomes the love of a family. The love that we learn in that family becomes what? Becomes a society, becomes a cult, becomes a tribe, then a society, a number of people, then a greater number of people, a nation, then a greater number of people, the world. People all embracing the similar concept of love. So we look at this, if we look at the Bible, there's a clear example. Do you all know the story of Cain and Abel? How did that work out for Abel? Didn't work out too good for Abel, right? When Cain and Abel, was Cain demonstrating chapter 2 of the book of love among brothers when he killed Abel? It sounds like it may be what we're used to, but clearly from the beginning, something is terribly wrong with the relationships in human families. The relationship of brother to brother should be the pattern for the relationship of family to family or nation to nation. And that is the pattern. We see that in history, nations have killed nations. People have fought wars. This has been our world. What was the fall of Adam and Eve? The fall of Adam and Eve was man's separation from God, and which automatically removed God from the family of Adam and Eve. And the results expressed themselves immediately in the very next generation. A human being without God became a murderer in just one generation. Without the God's grace, without God's blessing, the human family became the family of murderers. So when the Bible talks about the old order that will pass away, what must pass away? What do we have to pass? What has to go before we can see the ideal world? The world of families without God. We have the old order that we live in is the world of families without God. What is the new order that will come about? The world of families with God. Now, the families create, in our families we learn the lessons of love. We learn our ideals. We learn our character. So, fallen families create fallen ideals. Fallen ideals create fallen governments, because the governments are born from the ideals that we believe in. So, and how is on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the governments of history, the governments that we have seen passing through the world over the course of history? How would you rate governments that men have instituted on a scale of 1 to 10? Right. Governments suck, right? Governments suck. Why do they suck? Because there's no true ideal to build a government on. There's no structure, no true structure. We can't build a true family. We can't build a true government. So the world we live in is all about that. So that's why there's no political solution, no social solution, there's no religious solution for any of our problems. Young people have to know this. Do you really believe that you can solve racial tensions, environmental problems, economic problems, national problems by voting Democratic or Republican? Don't you want to solve problems like that? Yes. Don't you want to? Yes. We can't find those in political solutions because our families are separated from God, our ideals are separated from God, the governments and the world we live in will be dysfunctional. That's why we have to have true parents, and that's why we love true parents, because we have real reason for hope for all mankind. Because true parents are bringing that beginning point of the new order, the world of families connected to God, the world of ideals based on loving family relationships, the world of life, the world of joy, the world of laughter, the world of peace. These things come about because we have a true family. Now, when America took the idea of that all men are created equal and made it the reality that all men are created equal, it rolled like mighty waters across the face of the globe. It changed everything. When we take the idea of the true family and make it the reality of a true family centered on God, what must happen if human beings have an original mind? What must happen? It has to roll like mighty waters across the face of the globe. It has to happen because everybody has an original mind and everyone is seeking absolute goodness. There are young people in here today. There are young people who just graduated from Sunday school. All of them are learning what? Divine principle. They're learning how to become what? A human being, a person whose mind and body is united, centered on God. They're learning how to build ideal families. They're going to create, we are creating, they're going to create the environment. We're going to make the reality of a true family, and the world will see this, and this will roll across the globe like mighty waters. So, but how do you make an ideal family? What really is an ideal family? So we have to look at true Father's words, because the Father's words are so full of things that teach us this very deep concept. But we have to learn this concept in reality. So I like to read Father's words. How do we make an ideal family? Let's try this one. The true husband is like a servant to his wife. She may not even ask for anything, but he knows what she needs and voluntarily serves her with a loving heart. The true husband's actual position is almost like a servant. The wife's position toward her husband is also that of a servant. If you want to live a true life as husband, wife, society, or nation, you must live the truth of service. By living and serving others, you become true. So who wants to live a true life? Who wants to be recognized as being true by other people? How do you do it? Service. Who likes serving other people? Oh, I hate liars. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy serving other people. To serve other people, sometimes it hurts. Sometimes, you're serving people that you don't want to serve. Sometimes you're serving people you don't want to serve. That's the reality of our lives. But when we serve, that will build a new kind of people, that's good. By serving somebody, you're building a new world. You're changing the world, right here where you are. You're changing not just your world, you're changing the whole world. Because when you serve, somebody else will learn from your service. I have another one. It is a beautiful scene when a couple of children come and want to sleep together with their father and mother. It's all right, accept them. If there's not enough room, then organize a little better. One head goes this way, one head goes that way. It's okay. That's a beautiful depiction of a family. Actually, I was at that speech when Father first said that, and I was just less than 1 year in the church. I never forgot that. So when I had kids, I was waiting for the day when they would sleep in my bed, because that was I don't know. That's going to make me an ideal father or something. Maybe, but that's what I got to do. That's what you got to do. And I did that. That was how we did it. Our kids stayed in the bed as long as they wanted. And I did what I had to do. When they were in bed or not, I did what I had to do. We have more than one kid. We find a way. Don't worry. So, but it was really, that is to me, how do you make children strong? That's how you make people strong. Let them experience the heat, warmth of their mother's body. But when they were ready to get out, they just left. We didn't tell them to leave. When they wanted to go, they went out. Which is exactly what they're doing now. They go and they don't come back. That's what they do. But they're strong. They have the foundation of a family structure. After receiving love as children and experiencing the conjugal love of husband and wife, you will ultimately come to the realization that the most wholesome, sacrificial, and fundamental love is parental love. In an ideal life, you would fully enjoy the experience of all these three loves. So, if you want to have an ideal life, maybe the best thing would be to have a nice yacht and a mansion in Bermuda where the weather's nice. Would that be an ideal life?
Costa Rica.
Too many dinosaurs. Would that be an ideal life? Having the yacht, having the time to do whatever you want, have enough money to go wherever you want. Is that an ideal life? Now, look, I know there's a lot of young guys going out there. Let me think about this, because if there's a choice, I want to think deeply about this. Actually, we know that the ideal life is to experience love as a child from your parents. So that's what I tried to do, of course. That's what we tried to do with our children. Give them that. Then we want them to experience conjugal love between husband and wife. We want to train them how to be a good wife, how to be a good husband. And then they should experience love as parents. That's the easiest one, probably. All people love their children. That's hard to train. But if you experience those things in your life, in the definition of true love, then you have a fulfilling life. You don't need fast cars. You don't need to have your private jet. You have a fulfilling life if you have those three loves. You can cut a lot of fish, still be a happy person if you have that kind of love around you. Your world is good enough, and my world is just getting better because I also have the love of God. So young people, I know you're going to school. I know you want to get an education. But think about what is the most important thing you have to get. God wants you to have an education, and He wants you to have big bucks in your pocket. Because when the basket comes around, you're supposed to drop some big bucks. But to have a truly fulfilling life, you have to experience those three loves in your life. Put a premium on the things that are real. Next one. God wanted to see young adults burning with passion and zeal and infinite energy to reach true love. The one who finds the way or reaches out for that true love will fulfill his life. Love is supreme, and God made man with that nature so that he could readily reach that supreme love. God wants young people to have infinite burning energy to reach true love. Now, I used to have infinite burning energy, but it's not so infinite anymore. But reach out with zeal. Reach out with zeal for true love. Find out what true love is. If Cain and Abel had experienced true love, would Cain have killed Abel? If men had experienced if white men had lived in families of true love, would they have enslaved black men? If Germany had been composed of families of true love, would she have initiated great global conflicts in the last century? My God, we solved all the problems of mankind without spending any money. man, I would be the most popular presidential candidate ever. We have to seek with burning zeal this true love. You young people, this is your vision, this is your life. Seek true love, and you will change the world. You will change the world. And I'm not talking about in 300 years. Within your lifetime, those changes are going to emerge. Here's a good one. I would like to recommend that you blessed couples stay together as much as possible when you have the chance. Even going to the bathroom together and whispering love to each other there. Share the equipment together. And when you finish, clean one another up. That's how Reverend Moon is actually very heavy duty. God's #1 rule. Would God look down and exclaim at how ridiculous and repulsive you are? No. He would be excited and uplifted to see such love. He would be excited and uplifted to see such love. God's #1 rule is that true love is absolute. And in that case, it doesn't make any difference where it is expressed. In the bathroom, in the garden, in the bedroom, anywhere is fine. And that love will bring ecstatic love to God. When you have babies and they make a mess, do any parents, call for the diaper service and to change the baby because they don't want to touch it? There's no such thing. No parent will let his baby go unclean. Every parent will take care of his baby. What makes them so attracted to that waste product? What makes parents so much in love with that waste? All of a sudden they like human waste? No, but love makes that human waste seem even precious. But that concept works again. How about when your mother and father get older? And I've had this experience myself, and you have to clean up your own mother. It's a little different than a 1-year-old baby. Because I really respect my wife for taking such good care of my mother. To keep that standard, to take care of somebody. Does God look down and say how repulsive and ridiculous it is? Or is God uplifted and excited by such ecstatic love? God is almighty in that respect, and he has the ability to make each of you a king of love. So you shall have such ecstatic joy as this. God is the King of kings of love, and he is eager to see each of his children becoming kings of love, each creating his own empire of love where God can dwell. You become a king of love, and you build your own empire of love in your own family. King Jimmy, are you ready? King Jimmy, king of love. Now he's king of Tokyo. Someday he wants to be king of love. God is almighty. He can make each one of you a king of kings or a queen of queens of love. What's the most important equipment that you need to become a king of love or a queen of love? You just need to be born as a man or a woman. Anybody here not qualified? Anybody here not named Bruce Jenner not qualified? So, we're all qualified to become kings or queens of love. Brothers and sisters, when America let the idea that all men are created equal become reality, that all men are created equal, when that idea became reality, it rolled like mighty waters across the face of the earth, changing all the governments, renewing all the governments, giving hope to every human being on the face of this earth. When the idea of the true family becomes a reality, it will roll like mighty waters across the face of this earth. History gives me complete confidence to say that. So in the mid-1700s, there were young men like Madison, Monroe, Franklin. They were listening to these sermons of the preachers of that time, And when they had a chance to build a nation, their ideals, their visions, their connection with God built the great nation of America. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 40 years. But I do know that the young people that are in this room, the young people that just graduated here, there will be some changes coming because they will have the chance to renew this nation. We don't know what ways that this renewal comes about. Maybe they'll become a star on Broadway. Maybe they'll become a sports star. Maybe they'll design a better game, video game. Maybe they'll become a great teacher. Whatever ways, the renewal of this nation will come from families. The mighty waters that will roll across the earth, they're rising in this room right here. And they're going to start rising. They're going to roll across the earth from here. The young people here are already empowered for that. And when the time comes, they will build a better ideal. They will build a better world. They will build a different world. When we were young, all the parents in here, all you fathers, we studied the text, right? We listened to the sermons of true parents. I know we're always getting better, but I already live in an ideal family because my family possesses the love of God, the everlasting love of God. My family possesses the love of husband and wife, and my family possesses the love of children and parents. That is Father's definition of an ideal family. We may not be perfect. We have room for improvement because the world is not so great. We have to grow, but we already have that. We already possess that. We are already in possession of the ideal world in ourselves. So today, this is a new day. Because of the coming of the Messiah, because of the marriage of the Lamb, because of the initiation or the implementation of the true parents, we live in a new world. We live in a new world already. And in this world, we can now say a new government will emerge from our ideals. A new kind of government, a new order based on true family ideals. And our godly ideals, we're going to write a new declaration. We're going to have to explain to the world why we make our governments the way we do. We have to we'll make our declaration, we'll draw on the texts and the sermons of the true parents as our source material. Our nation will protect man's relationship with God. Our nation will protect man's relationship with God. Our nation will protect the family as sacred. And our nation will honor every individual as a child of God, a direct son or daughter of God. And so I'd like to conclude that maybe this declaration might sound something like this. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that God is the parent of all mankind, that human beings possess an eternal spirit, that the God-centered family is sacred, and that a healthy family is the school of love and the foundation of society, that the best way of life is to live for the sake of others. Is that the kind of nation you want to live in? Is that the kind of nation you want your children to live in? Brothers and sisters, we have everything we need to make that our reality. God bless you. Have a good day.